It's Friday somewhere, everywhere. It's Friday though, and I'm here. That's right. Keeping my word, Mr. Consistency. That's me. Welcome to the Troy Graham Experience, Daddy's Lounge, episode number 9. What doubt have you used to guide your children and heal yourself? That's what we talk about today. We all got doubts, and sometimes those doubts anchor us in place. So, which one of your doubts have you used to heal yourself, to guide your children while healing yourself? Because well, before we get into that, you know what I like to do. Go back to come forward, like Quentin Tarantino. We get to the end of the movie, then he's going to show you the beginning of the movie. It works. It works. It works, right? But when I said I had to detox, it had nothing to do with drugs. Stop it. Yeah, I know I don't drink or anything like that. But basically, I did listen to my positive affirmations today, but they didn't take because my mind was just like here, 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 and here. That I heard it, but it was like boom, 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 boom. It's like right ear, left ear, right ear, left ear. It didn't connect up in here. I did have some powerful things on there, though, of which I can remember phrases and little quotes here and there, but I can't remember all of it. And that tells me I wasn't focused enough, wasn't listening, you know? But you know what? It's okay. As long as you fill your soul up with something positive, man, give yourself that good stuff. Can't eat fried food all the time. Can't eat out all the time. Sometimes you got to eat a salad or something or prepare your own meal the way you like it. Take the time and cook for you. Add a little bit of loving to your food. Because ain't nobody going to love cooking for you the way that you love cooking for yourself. Ain't nobody can cook better for you than you can cook for your damn self. Say that one more time. I said ain't nobody can cook better for you than you can. Indeed. Indeed. You know where I got that from? I got that from, good Lord have mercy. Ronan, the brother, Stargate Atlantis, the brother who, Jason Momoa, his character was named Ronan. And before that, it was another team, Stargate, right? So Teal is an alien named Tilk, and he was like the Worf of that. He was strong, he was fast, and he was like a monk. And every time he destroyed somebody, he was like, "Indeed," because he had this big voice. Indeed. So yeah, and then him and Ronan did not get along at first. Ronan was the young, hot-headed, super-powered, overly strong guy. He was the older, wiser fighter. So Ronan was like, "You need to calm down so you can see things better, and you become a better fighter. You're gonna burn yourself out with all this anger." How long did your people last in the war? There was another race of aliens that came along and destroyed Ronan's people in 7 days. Now, mind you, these are extraordinary fighters, and the other race of aliens destroyed them in 7 days. So Ronan was like, hmm, I thought y'all were real warriors. I mean, what happened? How did you all get destroyed in 7 days? And he was like, Ronan was pissed. He was pissed. All that anger and doubt filled up in him. Until it was like, you step into the circle with me. We'll fight. And see if you can last longer with me than you did against the aliens. And he was pissed. He said, what? So, you know, got in there and they were doing all these martial arts stuff. He broke Ronan's stick in half. And then one punch, two punch, three punch, couple of punches. Teal was like, you are a good fighter. And Rona was like, you are a good fighter. Teal said, indeed. Indeed. Anyway, that had nothing to do with the damn subject matter. I just wanted to tell that story. So, where can I start today? Because you know I like to go all around the world and come back a little bit. So, where can I start today about doubts? I was a child that, coming up, I had super doubts, super doubts because I had a speech impediment. I stuttered. Can you tell? I tell you how you know someone is just getting over stuttering. They talk very fast. Excuse me. They speak very fast and very deliberately. Boom, 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 boom. Like they're just trying to get their words out real quick because they don't want to start stuttering. Because it's really a mental thing more so than a vocal thing. It's mental. There's a doubt. Something in the air is not firing. So as a child, I used to stutter, 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 stutter. And I just didn't have any confidence. And so this beautiful teacher who looked like Lona Falana, Miss Williams, my first crush in life, there was no other woman to me more beautiful than Miss Beautiful Dark Skinned Williams. Ooh, that woman was so fine. Anyhow, she was like, well, Mr. Graham. I used to get to fights too when I was little because people would tease me. So she made me sit up front next to her. Mm-hmm. So she was like, you know what? You don't raise your hand for nothing, and you sitting up here with me. That don't look right. I said, what you want me to do, Ms. Williams? She said, take these spelling words, 20 spelling words every week. You want me to write sentences with them? No. I want you to write a story. And then you're going to come to the front of the class and read your story. So every Friday, right there, Parkway Elementary in the Bronx, which is now a supermarket because it was a private school. Beautiful Miss Williams, who left us to become a social worker because it paid more. Wow, I don't even. Anyway, she let me read my story, and that is how Troy. Well, that's how Truth the Poet came to form. That was me, and that's how just Truth, my other name when I was out there doing spoken word, came about, and that's how the Troy Graham experience came about from Miss Williams. Anyway, I stuttered through it the first couple of weeks until finally I think I started, without knowing it, I did it straight a couple of times, and then people started teasing me, and I went right back into stuttering. So she was like, you know what? I want you to keep going. I said, why don't you pick somebody else? She said, no. And she let me do that every single week. And every single week I had the same doubts. I would hit my leg when I was about to stutter. Right? And I carried that doubt with me for a while until eventually it disappeared. I outgrew it. That's one of my doubts in life about just not being enough. Right? So I made it a point to never ever put that on my children. Ever. Like the daughter, right? When she was coming up, I told her, you have an incredible mind. You're gonna be more than just your body, because she's 6'1", so she overdeveloped like her mama was early and her aunties. So I said, I want you to understand that it's not just your TNA, like I told her, that makes you special, but it's your mind, that gift that God gave you. You're special like that. Use it. Use it. Right? I help you a little bit. And she picked up things very fast. Very fast. I mean, she's left-handed. I taught her how to throw a left hook. She picked it up very fast. I tied a rope from one end of the closet to the other end, and I showed her She picked that up real fast to the point where she could drop. She had a hitch when she and she would drop that hook to the body, and I was like, playtime over. You ain't hitting me with that no more. With your big hands. Her brothers, same way. I remember my youngest one told me that he wanted to be a, excuse me, you want to be, first he said, you want to be an engineer. And this was when he was 7, 8 years old. I said, fine, I'll help you. Just tell me, he said, I want to build phones, Daddy. Well, I had no heart to tell him that cell phones, that the cell phones are being built already. I said, when you get older, you're gonna build a better cell phone. That's what I told him. You can do that. You're gonna start your own company and build the world's better cell phone. The other one, I used to tell him he was my supermodel. That's my oldest son. He was a supermodel out the bunch, and he was damn good with computers. I told him be a uh, you're gonna be a computer repair person. What's the name for that? And the supermodel. So by day he's a supermodel. Ching, ching, ching. All of that, right? And by night he's gonna come over and fix your computers, ladies. Oh my! Imagine if Tyson Beckford was a was like a geek, as they called him from Best Buy, and he came to your house. That's my son. Yeah, my supermodel. And the middle one, wow, he uh he said he wanted to be a chef, but that dude could play some football, man. He was just naturally talented, much like Shannon Sharp and his brother. He was just that. He was like that. But he said, "Dad, I want to cook like you." So I said, "Well, you're gonna be my chef. You know, you're gonna be my chef, and you're gonna be my artist, because he could look at any room and draw it from just looking at it, and you would think that an adult artist drew it, because it was that damn good. He was that damn gifted. Wow. I don't know if he could still do that, but like I told him, you 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 got it, man. We're gonna get you into the School of Arts and all that. So that was one of my things when I was with them as a single father. I never wanted to carry my doubts and my beliefs about what couldn't be done, and whatever I fell short at, I didn't want to put that onto them. I used that to guide them when times get tough, and I used it to heal me, because I still carried. We all carry some of those demons on our back. Those doubts about what you can't do. People, it gets ingrained in you. I remember, what grade was I in? Seventh grade. Seventh grade. I was in 7E1, right there at junior high junior high school 135 in the Bronx. And this white lady was our teacher. I wish I could remember that half her name. It was mainly black and brown kids in the class, and a few whites sprinkled her in there, and Italians. And she told us, we black and brown children, you probably won't live to see 21. I never forgot that. I never forgot them words, because they made me so angry. And I was in seventh grade then, so I was 13, 14, whatever number it was. So I never ever forgot those words, and I carried that anger, I carried that doubt. Like, maybe she right. Then by the time I had children, I made sure never to tell them that garbage. It's garbage. I made sure if they ever had a teacher who gave off that type of energy, to watch closely over that person. And I told them, anybody ever tells you that, you let me know immediately, and I'll shut that down. You let me know, because I don't want that in their brains. You know, if I can't give them my doubt, no one else is gonna give them their doubts. Because you break people like that. Well, you shape people like that, and then they walk a certain path for years because they hear it. Boom, boom. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. It's a story. I remember reading part of Malcolm. I remember when I was reading Malcolm X coming up, right? The autobiography of Malcolm X. He tells the story of how when he was in school, he told his teacher he wanted to be a lawyer. Right? Pardon me. Teacher told him, you can't be no lawyer. You know? You can't be no lawyer. You's a Negro. You could be a carpenter, landscaper, but you can't be no lawyer. And he's like, why? He's like, you just can't. That's not a job for Negroes. You just don't qualify. It's not, you don't have the brain for it. And he talked about how he, once he got with the nation, how he purposely carried himself like a lawyer. He was always prepared to debate. He knew his facts and he carried a briefcase. Even though it might not be nothing in that briefcase, he carried it for a purpose. To look the part. To look the part. Now, mind you, all of this did not come overnight. Did not come overnight. This battle with doubts and failure and all that, that took what seemed like forever. It seemed like forever to battle those things away because I kept hearing it in my head. And it didn't just come from the teacher, it can come from people you love too. You know, I remember I told the loved one, you know, I'm gonna buy you a house. I'm gonna sell my because I'm gonna be a writer or I'm gonna be a heavyweight champion of the world, and I'm gonna buy you a house. This person said, "How you know?" That's something else I remember, right? And nobody believed in me when I started boxing. Everybody thought I was gonna get knocked out or something. So I carried that doubt and I turned that doubt into pure rage. Pure rage. And I lost a lot coming up because I was in a rage. I wasn't focused. I was enraged. Right? What's up, Eclipse? How you be, good brother? So once I dealt with that doubt and then the children came, I made sure I had to constantly tell myself, don't you pass that doubt on to them. Right? Don't you pass that doubt on to them. And I said, I know brother heard me, but I got the good brother Eclipse in here. So, but that's another thing as fathers, man. We have to, because those things are heavy, and some of us can't let go of them. Like I told a story about how I saw my father in jail at 15, and what I heard was, "I don't want to see you here." The reality of it is what he said is, "I don't want you to see me here. So I don't want you to come back because in a sense, he was saying, I'm ashamed that my son has to see me here." But for years, it was like, I don't want you here. And it hurt until finally something happened, some trauma happened, and the real truth just came, boom. So this is what he said all those years. And then, armed with all of that, I wasn't even, I, armed with all of that, I had to be careful when I did have kids that I didn't carry that over. You know, because that's a different worldly pain right there that you deal with. And if you pass your pain on to your children, then you're just creating a legacy of pain. And you know what else you're creating? A legacy of stagnation. Because how could they possibly grow if you undermine their purpose? Huh? How can you do that? So it was hard. It wasn't always easy because hell, like every other human being, I had doubts. My shoulders might be broad, but don't mean I could carry the weight of the world on them all the damn time, you know. Because I wasn't just carrying my weight; I had to carry the weight of four other human beings. You know, one happened to be a girl. So, you know, and I constantly have to tell them that you My grandmother used to teach me good, better, best. I said, y'all gonna be great. Damn it, because I said so in y'all mind. Period. Once you get to that best, strive for more than that. Did I believe it? If I sat up here and told you I believed it all the time, I'd be a liar. A big, handsome, dark skinned liar. Okay? But I didn't let them know that. Even though they're going to see this one day. Be like, Daddy, you were lying to us? Sometimes, y'all. Sometimes your daddy did lie to you. Yeah, of course. So, but I said it in a way with this bass in my voice, like, y'all going to be great. And they would turn back and say, because you are daddy. Damn straight, I would say. It's my combination Barry White, Teddy Pendergrass voice. Damn straight. You got what I need. But anyway, right? It was because I've seen fathers do that. I've seen them do it. They get that shovel and they start shoveling that damn, digging their own grave and then shoveling all that dirt onto their children. I'll give you a perfect example. One of my favorite movies is The Five Heartbeats, and Eddie Kane's daddy. Remember him? Eddie Kane's daddy, who was also in Hoodlum, right? He's the older brother in Hoodlum. Anyway, after Eddie Kane had that great night when he hit that high note at that one spot and just shut the joint down, right? Oh, oh, oh. Is there a heart? Is there a heart in the house tonight? Remember that scene? Everybody remember that scene. Anyway, so his mother stood up, was just like, that's my baby. So he goes out to give mama a hug after the show, and they said, Daddy, you see me? And he looked at his daddy. Daddy looked at him. He said, you know what? I ain't shit, and you ain't gonna be shit. You know what? Then the wife looked at him. Eddie came, mama looked at him like, why you treat that boy like that? And as Eddie walking away, he said, I just want to tell him the truth so he don't turn out like me. We think's gonna happen if you tell him that he ain't shit. That's helping him not to turn out like you or to be just like you. After having one of the best nights of his life, everybody praising him, patting on the back that you the greatest voice we ever heard. You kick him in the you kick him in the balls, talking about you ain't gonna be shit. Just like me. Rough, isn't it? Yeah. Mm. So and I didn't let a lot of people come around him. I didn't put them into a lot of areas with me. I didn't. I didn't allow everybody around them. That's another thing. I don't allow a bunch of spirits in my house, and I damn sure didn't allow a lot of spirits around my children, because those things will seep off in you. You know, people talk and say things. I remember uh, I told someone that my kids, before I died, they're going to become good men who do great things. Someone had told me, well, you need to stop lying to them. I said, wait a second. How do you know it's a lie? Because you don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 seconds. Okay? So yesterday's sins does not the human being make, does not shape the future. Okay, yesterday's sins may shape them into a much better person. Go back to Malcolm X and look. Who sinned more than him? We don't even know if he killed people. So that wasn't in the book or nothing. He never said it. But the man ran guns. Think about it. And he was a thief. And he was a pimp. And he ran numbers. Somewhere in there, somebody had to drop. And then there's other times, man, where I needed some help because my voice was getting deaf to them. So I brought in some people from my past who had that burden of being locked up for over 10 years. I let them speak to him with the understanding that this ain't you shipping your pain to them. It's for you to give them some guidance. And they looked at me like, all these decades you've known us, you think we'd really do that? Come on, man. We brothers. There ain't nothing but love here. I remember that. I remember when my brother told my son after he got shot. 'Cause my son did get shot a few years back, my oldest. And that was the worst feeling in the whole damn world. You can't do nothing about something, right? I couldn't do anything about it. I had a damn panic attack and nearly crashed my car and all that. I had to fight through all that to make sure he was all right. And he was just he was in a nasty mood for months because he could never walk. He could never play basketball again. He'd never be able to walk normally ever again. He can't run because of where they shot him. And they almost shot him in the head, almost. But he slid down and the bullet missed his head. And when you see that, I gotta get off this story. When you see that as a parent, right? Your soul, your legs start shaking, and your soul wants to break, and you want to cry, you want to rage, and you're a mess. No matter how much pain tolerance you have, or how strong you believe you are, you become a mess. So I was a mess that didn't let it out. I didn't let it out for about a month or two. And then one day I'm driving home and I couldn't get his mother's front door out my head with all them bullet holes in it. I just started crying and the right side of my body seized up on me, so I know I wasn't having a stroke. And then I got to shaking because I drive with my right hand. I got to shaking and carrying on, and I had to use my left hand to run the stop sign, get on the side of the road, and I was just laying there with the car door open, car door open. I was laying on the ground. That police jumped out at me like, "What you take?" I'm like, "I didn't take anything, man." And I was just boo-hooing my heart out, man. You know, crying my heart out. And so one of the brothers sat with me and was like, "You almost got yourself shot. You do know that, right? We thought you was on something or something." And I said, "Nah, my son got shot the other day, and I'm just dealing with it now." The other day being 2 months ago. I mean, this was years ago, but at that time it was 2 months ago. So they were like, "Oh, so you just..." One of them stayed in the car. One of them actually came to the sidewalk and sat with me and said, "I got kids myself, brother. I could relate, but we thought you had jumped out the car and something was up with you. You just laying here shaking. Figured you was on something." And that's another heavy burden I carried, but I couldn't show it to them, and I couldn't cover them. Couldn't just say, "Well, you can't go outside no more." That's another doubt. I didn't want to cover them like that and tell them, "You can't come outside no more until they find who shot your brother." Because the fact is, he knew, he just wasn't saying anything. Mm-hmm. Hmm. The hell did this story come about? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyhow, let me push through it and finish. So, along with my own doubts, I was carrying that weight that I'm his father and I couldn't protect him. felt so damn weak. Yeah. So I had to find the strength to get up the next morning and let them know I love them, but I can't shelter you from the whole world. I can't protect you 24/7. But I will tell you this. I've taught you a lot of things, and please listen from now on, because I nearly lost one of you, and y'all nearly lost a brother. I don't want to go through that no more. I know y'all don't want to go through that no more, because that shook them up too. It was a reality check. And so they kept asking me, well, what's going to happen now? We have to move and all that. What's going to happen? Like, I'm not moving. You know, any fool welcome to come to my house if they want. By law, I can't have any weapons. We're going to leave that conversation alone. But anyhow, so I had to tell myself every day, don't worry yourself to death. Pray with them when they go to sleep. Pray with them once they leave, and know that they're gonna come back home. And if they ask you, can they go do this and can't do that? Can't go to everything, but you gotta let them go to some things. Because if you constantly tell them no, 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 because you're afraid, that's just gonna happen. They're gonna rebel. I ain't gonna do what they want anyway. Right? Right. So it was like a ridiculous kind of balancing act. Pendulum. I made sure I let them know that I was put here to protect you, and I'll live for you, I'll die for you, I'll kill for you, whatever it takes. But you cannot allow yourself to live in fear. So I put them. We went to. They were always in the church. I needed that ice break. Yeah, I definitely needed it. But so, so what? Found the strength to let them find their way a little bit. But I told them move with purpose, and if we would walk, and I would teach them how to pay attention to their surroundings. Like I tell them, always watch how somebody walks. That will tell you their intentions. Their eyes could lie, but their movements can't. Someone could smile in your face and be like, I'm coming up to you harmlessly. No, watch their body language. They're not coming up to you harmlessly. That's a deflection. For you to drop your guard. And once you do that, you become prey. Don't let nobody walk up on you neither. Pay attention, damn it. So basically, I would I would let them walk like a block ahead of me, and they wouldn't know which direction I was coming from. And then I would pop out, and then if they could tell me that they heard me from this direction or that direction, I would know that they were paying attention to their surroundings. And then I would let them walk to school by themselves, but I'll pick them up in the afternoon to give them that reinforcement. Some things you had to do on your own. But man, I had super, super doubts for a while. They did not leave my side for a while. I made sure I just said I let them walk to school, but that was after a while. I was walking them to school every day. I was picking them up from school every day. And I was like early. I wasn't even on time. I was early. Early. You got me? So what the lesson there, what I taught them is you're gonna go through pain. You're gonna have your doubts, but don't let them be the center. Don't let them don't live within your pain. Live with it and then move on from it. But don't let it be the vehicle that keeps you in place, or the or don't let it be the obstacle that keeps you in place. Don't become that child that says, well, this happened to my brother or this happened to my father is bound to happen to me. Ah, no. Have enough strength to say that was their time, that happened to them, it will not happen to me. Because, you taught me to pay attention to my surroundings. Sorry about that. You taught me how to fight, taught me how to think. Now I think for myself. It's all in little nuances. Like, we as black men, I had to teach my kids how to deal with police from the age of. I taught them at the age of 8, 7, and 4 how to deal with the police. Never, ever, ever answer questions you're not asked. Do not keep your damn hands in your pocket. Don't lock eyes with them for too long, and don't show any aggression, but be firm enough for them to let. If you show any nervousness, then they're gonna say you're guilty. But just be firm enough for them to understand that this isn't what you want, and I don't want it from you. You're gonna eat your donut, go the hell home, and I want to go home too, you know. And always yes sir, no sir, or yes ma'am, no ma'am, and you know I'm not telling them to shuffle and smile for the police. I'm telling them how to survive. Don't ever put your hands in your pockets when you're around the police. They'll shoot you. Don't make any sudden moves and don't be overly aggressive. Please don't do that. And please don't ever answer questions that no one asked you. If they just pull up on you, you never identify yourself. No, don't do that. Because, Boxing Lounge, how you doing, good brother? And so, these are things that I had to teach them, because I didn't want to bury on any of them. Not a one. They buried me. And I make sure that because I put them on my life insurance. Every last one of them. Probably, for those of you just tuning in, probably wondering why I'm keep going on mute. They don't need me to chew ice on the air, is it? You want to hear me chew ice? I doubt you do. I strongly doubt that you do. You don't want to hear me belch, chew ice, none of that. But shoot, along the way, those doubts of yours as a father will either you use it as a tool and not let it use you. You find some strength in them to strengthen your children. Remember, to go back to what that teacher told us, that we weren't going to live to see 21 because we were black and Latino children. Right? Didn't forget that. Never forgot that. Someone told me I could never be heavyweight champion of the world. How you know? How you know that? You don't. How you know I couldn't be a great writer like Langston Hughes? How you know that? You don't. You know? And I'm still here, so I'm not even finished growing. I'm not. So You carry around those doubts. What do you think's gonna happen? And you have children. I mean, how many times have I heard when I was mentoring these young ones? I do not know how to be a father. Well, as simple as this is gonna sound, you learn how to be a father by being a father. Mess up, mess around, mess up, but stand in place. When they hungry, feed them. When they need to be changed, sorry, you got to feed them. You know how many shitty Pampers I changed over the years? Hmm? A lot. Just a lot. You know how many times we lived on the second floor. You know how many times that floor got wet up because they were in the tub and the road ass neighbor came upstairs, the one who worked for Child Protective Services, who was getting her ass beat by a man, but she was threatening to call Child Protective Services on me, on my children, simply because the water was going down into her apartment. She didn't do that while I was there. She waited till I left. She did that to my wife. So I just got tired of it. You know, don't be threatening us. Because all I got to do is make one call and you'll lose your job and your children. You the one getting beat in front of your children. How are you going to threaten us? They don't have any idea how scared I was most of the time. I had no idea. Scared I'd lose my job. Scared that something would have happened to me along the way in life and I wouldn't be there for them. But like I told them when they went to bed, when they told me, "Daddy, I got nightmares," and da 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 da. I said, "Okay, who's your favorite superhero?" They would say Superman, Batman, Black Panther. I said, "Well, take them in your dreams." Right? One of them was like, "You my superhero, Daddy." I said, "Well, take me in your dreams, baby, because I don't lose. Daddy don't lose. Superman got a weakness. Batman is just a rich white boy with a never fighting skills and a belt. The Black Panther is intelligent, rich, and an African king. But you know what I am? I'm the best superhero in the world. I'm your daddy. Take me with you. I'll never let you down." What if it's a big monster, Daddy? Ain't no bigger monster than your mama. No, I didn't say that. I did not say that, by the way. I think I did, but then I laughed it off. But that's none of your damn business. Ain't none of your damn business. But anyway, felt good to do that, man, because the more you open up to your children, the less you have to carry. Like, you got me? Trust me, the more you open up to them, the less you got to carry because all that shame, ten, the more you share, all that shame will start just falling off, rolling off your shoulders, man. Shoot, you're gonna look like a fool more times than anything in front of them. You know, shoot. I remember. I'm not telling you that story because that's not a good look for me. I'm not sharing that story. Damn that. We gonna let's rewind and restart. Back it up and come back again. But anyway, yeah, y'all not sharing. Y'all not getting that story from me. I should share it, but ain't none of your damn business. Well, okay, I tell you this story, and I was ashamed of myself for this. So, my kids are at school, and I'm spending the day with this young lady. She came over to my house, which I never really let people come into my house. Right? I don't like a bunch of spirits in my house, but I've been seeing her now for about 4 months. So I said, okay, cool, cool, cool. Children ain't here. let her slide on through. So, we were there, we talking, and there was no Netflix, but we were chilling, had some Chinese food and some adult activities, right? And overslept. I looked at the time, I was like, damn, you still here, and I gotta pick my kids up. You gotta ride with me to pick my kids up, and I take you to the light rail and make sure you get home, right? She said, well, you can't drop me home. I said, no, because my kids are here. I can't go all the way into the city I mean, I would, but I have my boys. I got to take care of them. Understand? She's like, okay, well, just because you have to pick up your sons, I understand. So I went, and and plus where she lived was way from where I lived. I didn't want to take that ride with her on a Friday afternoon in Baltimore City. Anyhow, I went to pick up, and they were like, Daddy, who's that? I said, oh, that's my friend, Miss So and so. They're like, oh, one of them was like, why you got the lady from Payless in the car, Daddy? Kids don't forget anything. So she was the manager of Payless, y'all. Like I said, I got a lot of their play shoes from there and things of that nature. Anyway, right? So they were like asking a lot of questions. She's like, "Is that your girlfriend, Daddy?" They were how old were they? 10, 9, and 6. That's how old they were. So So these fools, the youngest one said to me, I was so embarrassed too. He says to me, Daddy, she is so pretty. You always get pretty women, but she bigger than our sister. And see, his sister was 6'1", and he thought that was the biggest woman in the world. His sister was 6'1", like 180. This lady was 6'3" and about 195 or whatever she was. Right? 6'3". And I'm 6 foot. Who knew I was a mountain climber? Now you know. So I couldn't stop laughing, and she turned around and said, "You are so cute, you little cutie pie." Yes, I am good looking, and I am taller than your sister. Your daddy like it. I'm like, don't say that. And she said something to the extent of, "No, me and your daddy are just friends, and he has no problem with me being tall." I'm like, cut the conversation off. Don't talk to my children. I wanted to just tell her, don't talk to my kids flat out because we don't have that type of relationship, but it was my fault she was there. Well, been extracurricular activity wore us both out. So I couldn't tell her to shut up. Mm. I couldn't come off like, shut up and talk to my children. She'll be like, well, if I can't talk to your children, I won't be doing nothing else with you. She was pretty too. Looked like Jill Scott. Yes, indeed. Anywho, I dropped her off at the light rail, and then I took them. I said, "Look, y'all want to get some ice cream?" They like, "Well, tell us more about Miss So and So. Is she gonna be coming over the house? Is she gonna be living with us? You gonna marry her, Daddy?" And like, no, no, and hell no. Your daddy ain't getting married to nobody. You know, not right now. And my oldest was like, "So does this mean you're not getting back with mommy?" And I said, "No, but y'all know that. Y'all know I'm not getting back with mommy. We had this discussion. I didn't tell him what happened, but I let him know, no, mommy and daddy ain't gonna do that." Oh, that was a rough drive back, man. That was a very rough drive back home with them children. You know, asking me, am I gonna get married? This is my girlfriend. We gonna get free shoes, Daddy? She didn't give us free shoes, but she gave us her manager's discount, which was damn near half off everything we bought in there. I sure enough bought them a lot of play shoes out of there. Let them go ruin those and leave the good shoes for school and church and when we going somewhere, you know. So they had their name brands when they went to school, which was the Starberries and the Shack. Same. I support black, so I wasn't no worry about it. And they had to pay less when they just went to run up and down in the yard and run around on the football field. We play football, right? But kids, and then just that's to them. I was so embarrassed. And there was another time that, oh, 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 I can't tell you that story because that involved one of their teachers. So we're not going to have that conversation. Not at all. Am I sharing that story? Uh, what the hell am I talking about? Yeah, I can't share everything on here, unfortunately. I just won't. But all them all them doubts that we acquire in life, some are told to us by outsiders, some are told to us by loved ones, and they just compound and compound over the years. Each time we fall short, they turn us. It make us think that we can't walk that path that God set for us. So what we do is we tell our children, you're gonna fall short because well, I fell short. The hell with that. I'm not a fool. I don't tell my kids they can walk on water. Nah, neither did Jesus. It was a parable to make followers into believers. Okay? Rakim said that. So I didn't do that. I made sure of it, but it was a battle, man. It was a struggle to not do that. Ain't nothing about this easy. If it was easy, then it wouldn't be my task to do. Wow. Think about it. Think about it. If it was easy, why would God give it to you? Easy is like taking a breath every day. That's a blessing, but it's easy. So along the way, I actually learned how about strength a lot through them too, because I remember they started playing football. So my youngest, two things happened because I was about to go head up with the coach of the other team. So I volunteered to do the chains on the opposing team, right? Hey, Miss Evelyn, how are you? And uh, and so I was doing the chains on the other team. My son's number is 85. He was killing him by himself. Coach told him, hey, take him out at the knees. And I went over there and I was like, what the did you say? That's my son. This is a child's game. The other coaches from my son's team came running over. My son came running over because me and him was like this. We were like this, and I was gonna end. I wasn't gonna kill him, but I was damn sure gonna hurt him. If anything would happen to my son, I was gonna destroy his entire world. Right? So they done took me off the field. Now I can't do the chains no more. I'm good, Miss Evelyn. Thank you. So, uh, and I learned courage from him because I told him what was up. And I asked him if he wants to keep playing. He's like, yeah, yeah, I'm mad now, Daddy. I want to keep playing. I said, well, go ahead and take care of your business. Show him who you are. Man, worst thing they could have did was threaten to harm my son. My son ran roughshod over them boys. And they went on to win. That year, they played the team. Uh, Parkside was the name of that team in Baltimore. That team was gifted a victory over my son's team. And that Parkside went on to play Snoop Dogg's team and gave them all sorts of hell in California, but they still fell short, right? So I learned that courage from him because he could have been like, "Nah, I don't want to play no more because they're gonna take my knees out, Daddy." And then that same day, the youngest one, they kicked him in the balls. He plays for the youngest squad, right? They kicked my youngest son in the balls on the field because both of them were captains and they were murderers on the field. They were killers. Their daddy can't play football to save his life, but they come from a football family. If you know James Harrison from the Steelers, that's their cousin, right? There's another brother who named Cager who plays for the Jets or the Giants. I don't remember his first name. Uh, he, hmm, he's an NFL player as well. So when they kicked my son in the nuts, the youngest one, he was about 8 years old or whatever he was. So he comes over to the other side crying. He in pain. They kicked his ass in the nuts. So, so the coach was like, "Well, we're gonna sit him for a while, but we're gonna need it. But talk to him and see if he can come back." And I looked at him. He said, "You want to get out the game, son?" It's all right. I understand if you get out the game, because they hurt you and everything. He's like, "No, I don't want to get out the game. I want to go." I said, "I want to catch your breath first. Make sure you want to go because you can sit down. I mean, wink, wink. You can sit down. You quit. Okay." He knew I was lying when I said that. I gave him the old. You can quit. No, you can quit. No. He's like, "No, Daddy, I'm a gram." I know I'm not lying. That's what the little boy said. So he went back out there. I don't know football, but they were on like the goal line. Everybody knew he was gonna get the ball. Everybody and their mama knew it. It was two kids that was supposed to stop him. Another one was supposed to come from the back and push him back. One kid just fell. He just fell. The other kid, my son, knocked his ass into the end zone and into the one who was the spy. And they scored and won. So all them doubts, all them damn doubts that I had, the fears and doubts that I had, I gained some strength by watching them succeed. And I was proud. Every time they did a little something, I let them know, "I'm proud of you." They didn't know at the time that they were helping me. Their successes were helping me become a better father. Because you got to understand, when you solo doing this, whether I don't care how tough you are, you're afraid. And I was afraid every day. A certain level of fear. There's a certain level of fear. I wasn't afraid to fight that coach. I'll tell you that much. Nah, no, I wasn't afraid of that. But I just was afraid that I couldn't live up to being that father that they needed and wanted. But when I saw how they handled their problems, that inspired me. And so I said, I got to keep pushing so they can stay inspired. Got it? Yeah. And that's kind of like a non-verbal communication between you and your children. They'll be peeping and watching you, and they'll see your successes and your failures, and they'll watch how you deal with it. If you stay down, that gives them the right to stay down. Last story, and then we gonna say happy Friday and exit stage left, right? Unless y'all want to keep hearing my lovely voice. So their mom, when I met her, she was like, "I want to go back to college, get my degree, get my degree." So I said, "What's stopping you?" Well, we got before it was just one child. Matter of fact, it was only two when she went back to school because the other one wasn't born yet. Was he? Yes, he was. It was three. It wasn't four when she went back to school. It was three. And so I kept telling her, just go. You go at night. I work. You go at night, and I work during the day, and I got it. Just go. She said, but if I go to school, it means I'm gonna have to work part time, and you're gonna have to pay most of it. I said, that's cool. Just go. So she went. Matter of fact, she went to school with Jamal Bryant, right? Yeah, the preacher. So he used to preach in the yard, right there in the yard. Anyhow, she graduated. She graduated, and my daughter saw that. Her son saw that. Was that right? Because it was two. No, it was one son. Because it was 2001, and we only had one son at that time. So yeah, one. So here's what happened when I say they watch you. My daughter at a certain age was like, I don't know if I can finish high school. I want to drop out. I said, did your mama drop out? And she was going to college? No, 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 no. Wrong story. She turned around and said to me and her mom that, it's because of the fact that her mom graduated from college why she really wanted to graduate from high school. Because at some point she said she wanted to drop out. I think that's how the story went. Because she saw how much her mother worked hard to graduate, she could not let her down. And neither did she want to let herself down, but she wanted her mom to be proud of her. Damn me, I ain't nothing. But she wanted her mom to be proud of her. And so, without even knowing it, what you might take as a little thing shapes and develops them in a big way. Even even when you thinking they're not seeing you and you get up and go to work every day when you don't feel like you deal with an asshole boss, they watching you. They see how you deal with stuff. Don't stay down. You are right to let down, but you have no right to stay down. We all shift. It's like a stick shift. We sometimes you got to shift down. Can't all stay at sixth gear forever. Fifth sometimes is all right. Four, three, two, but don't be stuck on one because you ain't gonna get nowhere. That being said, it's Friday. I've been on for over an hour. I seen y'all pop up and pop in, and I thank you for that. You know, uh, I just want to say thank you, man. I will continue strive to bring you. It's I want some folks to listen. When it grows, it grows. 'Cause I can keep doing episodes. It doesn't matter. But I would love to hear from some mothers. You know, so pass, share, like, and share the show. Help me out, would you? Thank you. I appreciate it. Just some ladies to come on the show. Have them bring their husbands, boyfriends, whatever, and we'll talk. You know, because really, I keep going, but one must know when it's best to shut it down. So thank you once more, and bless up to one and all. I will see you on Monday. Same experience time, same experience platform, same experience channel.